I've always heard that whenever your boyfriend starts to act a little bit weird about intimacy, that's when you should start to suspect something. We've been dating for 2 years and he's always been the one who initiated everything. But lately things have been a little bit different. I'm the one who has to initiate everything. One of the difficulties that I've had in this new relationship is that my intimate life isn't as good as it was in my previous relationships. I never told my boyfriend this, obviously, because there's so many other things that are important in a relationship that he gives me. Oh, by the way, I've always heard that whenever your boyfriend starts to act a little bit weird about intimacy, that's when you should start to suspect something. We've been dating for 2 years and he's always been the one who initiated everything. But lately things have been a little bit different. I'm the one who has to initiate everything. One of the difficulties that I've had in this new relationship is that my intimate life isn't as good as it was in my previous relationships. I never told my boyfriend this, obviously, because there's so many other things that are important in a relationship that he gives me. Oh, by the way,
Okay guys, you want a story time? Let's do it. I do just want to start off by saying that obviously this video really blew up, got a lot of attention, and there are people who want us to stop. They don't want us to put this information out there. Obviously people are hiding. While I get it, the story must be shared. However, we did hear that the other woman in this story has received over...
My ex-boyfriend always knew that I wanted to be a young mom. We both started dating when we were 22. He also knew that one of my biggest fears was to be a single mother. And I think this is a legitimate fear to have, right? He also wanted to be a father, so this was not just my decision. I basically got pregnant a year after we started dating. I heard a lot of people's relationships get tested once you have a child, and ours definitely did get very challenged. He excused himself saying that he was working more, but I had my doubts. But I also didn't want to be a crazy girlfriend and check his phone and do all of that. I just wanted to trust him. Even though, like I said, I could sense that something was wrong. But I guess maybe I was trying to protect myself and ignore it. Basically, I never snooped through.
Storytime on how my boyfriend cheated on me with my best friend. In high school, I was not really popular, but I was talking to this one guy. Let's call him Nick. Nick was also known for cheating, but he told me that they were just all rumors. I also had a best friend, and let's call her Anna. So fast forward, we started dating, and one day I get a text from him saying, "Hey, can you come to my house tomorrow to watch a movie?" So I text him saying, "Of course, meet you at 7. He says, "Okay, see you." The next day, it was 6:30. I started driving to his house for the movie. Well, while I was driving, he probably texted me asking to cancel, but I was driving, so I didn't hear it. So I pull up at his house, and he's in his bedroom. Well, he must have seen me look at him because he looked like he was talking to someone and told them something about hiding. If you want a part 2, let me know down below in the comments.
How I found out my boyfriend of 2 years cheated on me. I promise you, the way I found out, if you use this, you will find out if your boyfriend's cheating on you. No matter what, 100%. It's literally guaranteed. I'm not going to go over the actual details that made me think he was cheating. I'm literally just going to go over what I did to find out if he was. So let's get into it. I called him at night and I made sure he was home. This is very important because you have to make sure they're doing something where they can sit down and not have any distractions. So I actually texted his mom. I was like, "Hey, is home?" She goes, "Yeah." So that's when I called him. I said, "I'm only calling you for 2 reasons. 1, if we're going to be broken up forever. Or 2, we're going to be broken up maybe down the road, when I move back to Iowa, blah, blah. We'll figure it out." So he goes, "Okay, what's up? What's up?" I said, "Prop your phone up against a pillow, scoot very far away from it, and put your hands in your lap." And he was like, "Okay." So we did that. I said, "You're not going to touch your phone and you're going to give me your Snapchat password." And he's like, "Oh my God, I don't know my Snapchat password. You guys are going to hate me. I literally put 1 minute. Part 2.
I want to know if anybody out there has a sillier cheating story than the one that I'm about to tell. In high school, I was dating this guy, whatever, but the context is right before we started hooking up, started seeing each other, I developed a vocal injury. I got what's called vocal nodules or nodes, as popularized by the movie Pitch Perfect. And you get nodes if you you misuse your voice or you talk too much, which is what I do. And I had to get a surgery, big vocal surgery. So I'm dating this guy and it's great. It's so fun. We have a lot of fun together, whatever. But eventually my surgery approaches. When when you get vocal surgery, the doctors, they tell you, they're like, this is a very serious surgery. We're going in with a laser onto those little cords of yours. The big thing though is that after a month after the surgery, you can't talk, you can't laugh, you can't cry. Anyway, let's get to the cheating. Things are going great for months until I get my surgery. Okay, so the next day I'm coming out of my like fucking anesthesia, like coma, like I'm still drugged up. I wake up, I'm in my bed and I get all these texts. Let's call this guy Steven. Hey, I heard that Steven was seen like hooking up with his ex last night. Like they were like making out on the beach and then they went to his car. I'm still on the pain meds, right? So I'm like, what? Oh, also he had texted me the day before, or like 2 days before, being like, do you want to go to the beach tomorrow with this big group that was going? And I was like, oh babe, remember my big major surgery is actually tomorrow. And he was like, right. At that same beach event or whatever, he was allegedly seen like making out with his ex.
I got cheated on when me and my boyfriend were on vacation to my own hometown, y'all. This shit's fucking sick. Alright, let's go. So my boyfriend at the time, like, he was in a funk. Like, I could just tell, like, his energy was off. So I was like, you know, I was trying to be a good girlfriend. Like, let me plan a little trip back to my hometown. Let me, like, go show you my favorite food to eat, show you my family's place, you know, all the good shit, okay? I wanted it to be perfect, y'all. Like, I even picked out, like, the most perfect, like, cute little Airbnb, all types of shit. Like, I thought of everything. I had the whole weekend planned. Like, y'all, I had literally thought of everything. I even invited his best friend and his girlfriend. We all ended up making a big trip out of it, okay? So, the first, like, 2 days, everything's good. Like, he's going out on all the outings I had planned, all types of shit, okay? Then he starts being fucking weird. He's like, no, I don't really want to do anything. I'm not in the mood. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. But what? Bitch, we're on vacation. We worked together, so, like, we never had off. So it's like, what are you talking about? Bitch, we're on vacation. The fuck? So I just peeped. Like, he was being so weird to me, y'all. Like, when you have that gut feeling, bitch, you know. So earlier in that day, I had peeped that, like, he was being weird. Like, he did not want to go out and do anything. He got in the shower, and I'm on my phone. I'm scrolling on TikTok. I'm not paying him no mind, right? His phone lights up, and it's from an unsaved number. Now, keep in mind, I go through phones. I can't lie. I was gonna lie to y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I go through phones, but you're not gonna play in my face. You're not gonna play in my face at all. So I seen it light up, and it was a picture. The fuck? Okay, y'all, go to part 2.
My boyfriend of 8 years had been cheating on me for 2 years, and this is how I found out. In the 8 years I've been with my boyfriend, he only cheated on me once. I've never gone through his phone for 8 years, even after this happened. And I don't even know if this could be considered cheating, but basically one of my friends, she found him out on a dating app. And I had never even heard about this dating app. It's called Hoppy, but apparently he was there and she told me. And I forgave him because we had been dating for a long time. He hadn't met anybody physically. I could move on from this as long as he deleted the app. But apparently he didn't learn his lesson and something really bad happened. Now I feel so stupid because I should have gone through his phone. So he lost his phone and he lost all of his contacts. So I go with him to buy a new one. We're driving to my house and he asks me for my phone number. I text his new phone number without saying anything to him directly. Just saying, what's up, sexy, trying to be flirty. And this is when I start to get suspicious because he looks at his phone and he doesn't even acknowledge. So when we get to my place, he immediately runs to the bathroom. So I'm in the living room and he's in the bathroom and my phone lights up. He's sending me these very weird flirty texts saying he really wants to be me and he really wants to see me and that he misses me. He's a pretty funny guy, so I was like, is he joking? I thought this was like a weird flirting thing that he wanted to try. There's this one that stuck out to me, which was, I'm really corny right now. I wish I could be with you. But as soon as he walks out of that bathroom, he goes, baby, I really need to leave right now because an emergency came up. And I realize what's actually going on is when he is walking out of my house, he turns back and he goes, oh, you forgot to text me your phone number. Do it when you can. I'm sorry, so who are you texting in the bathroom? I didn't even have to try that hard because he just straight up confesses everything. Basically, he has been cheating on me with someone for 2 years. And he says he can't leave her because he doesn't know which one of us he likes more. So yeah, this I couldn't forgive.
So I called his wife. So I've accidentally been dating a married man for the past few months, and he also forgot to mention that he has children. So I found out a few days ago and it's been eating me alive ever since, but I've managed to get her number. So I ummed and ahed about it for a few days, about telling this woman that her husband's a piece of shit, because this essentially could break up their little family. But I would want to know. So I waited for a day to call her when I knew that he would be at work. Psyched myself up for this phone call. I had a cold shower, 2 espressos and a rehearsal call with my friend before. So I've rung the number and she's answered. Hiya, my name's Lily. I'm so sorry to have to say this to you, but I think I've been dating your husband. And she's like, you've been seeing my husband? Yes, and he's been going on for a few months. Had I known that he was married or even had a girlfriend, I wouldn't have got involved. I didn't even know that he had children. And she's like, who is this and where did you get my number? So my name's Lily. Him and I were having dinner the other night and his phone rung like 6 times and he was just ignoring it. The phone was face down on the table and then he walked out of the restaurant for a moment and I picked up the phone. You was calling. I saved the number on my phone and then looked at your WhatsApp picture and saw you and him on your wedding day and I'm truly so sorry. And she's like, Lily, I know exactly who you are. So that picture is from my wedding day and those are my children. But that man that you are referring to is my brother. And the reason that he was ignoring my calls is because I was driving him mad, trying to gate crash and come down and have a drink with you both. And just for the record, my brother has class and respect and he would not answer the phone whilst he's out having dinner with a girl that he's serious about. Not sure how serious he's going to be about you now, Lily. Listen, I hung up the phone, I've blocked her, I've blocked him, and my entire soul is riddled with the worst anxiety I have ever experienced. Like, I'm actually considering either going to church, signing myself up into some sort of psychiatric ward, or just moving up north or something.
Here is my experience with age gap relationships. When I was 16, I started dating a 20-year-old. I was like, oh my God, like I got myself like a mature ass man. Like he's a man. He was a pedophile. I had myself a pedophile. This relationship was so fucked up. I haven't talked about it on here. Honestly, I didn't want to. The reason I am talking about it is because if there's a girl that was like 16-year-old me out there that was in the same position, maybe this story can help her get the fuck out. But I was a junior in high school and he was old as shit. But when I was 16, I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I was like, I got myself a man. Like he's mature. He's like, all he thinks like he's a man. Oh, he was a fucking loser. This man lied to me about being in college. When I was 16 years old, this is my first boyfriend, like basically everything ever. I think he's my knight in shining fucking armor. Like I think the heavens above sent him to me and I'm like, my man, my man, my man. But in reality, it was fucked up. Not only just fucked up because of what actually happened during the relationship, it was illegal. I was 16 at the time. I think knowing all those things at 16 years old was like, ooh, this makes it like fun and risky. I'm letting you know right now, you're gonna look back and be like, what the fuck? Because that's what I did. When there's an age gap like that, specifically when you're talking about teens and 20-year-olds, there's a huge power dynamic. Like normally the older person is in charge of the entire relationship because they'll use the line like, well, I'm older. I've been through a relationship before. You're new to this, like all those things. But the power dynamic is so dangerous because they use that to get whatever the fuck they want. And especially it being my first relationship, he would use things against me like, no one's ever gonna love you the way I will. I'm like, bitch, you really barely even fucking love me. When you're 16 years old and you have someone who you think has lived a life, you're going to believe everything they say. This relationship became so toxic that at 17 years old, he moved in with me. I literally became this kid's mother. He moved in with me because his mom was gonna make him pay rent and he was like, well, I can't afford rent. And at that time, I'm like, oh my God, she's so cruel for that. That's fucking reality, bitch. Like that's growing up. Like you gotta pay your own rent. So I was 17 years old. I was working like 35-hour weeks and I'd come home to this motherfucker chilling on his iPad, not in school, working 10 hours a week at a grocery store. Like I was financially supporting the both of us because that's what I thought I had to do because I was groomed and manipulated into thinking that. Go to part 2.
I got a hey girly text within the first year of my fiance and I dating. And I say this with a laughing manner because the story's actually really funny. I've said the story before on my account, but it's too funny not for me to reshare it, especially with all the new faces I have on here. So brace yourself for this story. Believe it or not, the story actually happened this year. So basically this random number texted me and they just said hey, and I was like, who is this? And they didn't answer, like they just ignored the question. And they were like, are you dating Vinny? And honestly, I don't really answer random numbers, but my fiance was like, let's see who it is. So then I did. So I was like, yes, I'm still dating Vinny, and Vinny's my fiance if you're curious. And they were like, oh, I hate to tell you this, but he's cheating on you. And I was like, That could not be farther from the truth, but I was like, you know what? I got nothing else to do. Let me entertain this. For someone to make that big of an accusation is kind of crazy. It's giving, I have no job, I have no life. I literally told my fiance, I said, if you have the energy to cheat on me after going to work and then after work coming to my house and staying until like 11:30, you have time between 11:30 to whatever. I said, you can cheat on me. I said, I don't care. I would not have the energy to do it, so if you do, by all means. With that being said, they were like, yeah, does he have Instagram? If you say he does, that means he must have me blocked. He doesn't want me to have Instagram to see y'all together. And they went on and on about this, and I was like, oh, like let's see some proof, please. They never would provide proof. I said, oh, let's see screenshots of y'all's conversation. Oh, I'm at work. This fake person was apparently a server, and I'm like, if you have time to text me these long paragraphs, you have time to send me a screenshot. We kept going back and forth. They were like, oh my goodness, like, he's been lying to me, he's been lying to you, and I'm like, oh my goodness, really? To sum it up, people have nothing else better to do. I did some big brain activity, and I was like, let's text her off of my fiance's phone, and we're gonna see if she recognizes the number. Because I said, if she does recognize the number, obviously they have no communication. I text her off his phone, and I was like, oh, like, hey, are you free to chill tonight? You know what she said back to me? She said, who is this? Now, if you have been contacting someone for months, wouldn't you think you would know who you're texting? Like, be so for real right now. We got one of our friends to contact this little mystery person. They called them, no answer. Are we surprised? No. Another random number texted us and was like, who is this? And keep in mind, we have tried entering the first number into Snapchat, Venmo, PayPal, TikTok, like just to see if like their name would pop up through contacts. It did not. The second number, however, is where they fell into our trap and how we actually ended up finding who the person was. We entered the second number into Venmo and we found out who the person was, and we kind of had speculations of who we thought the person was because y'all know my life story. So it ended up being someone who I don't speak with, their friend. What struck me to retell this story because I thought about how long this year was and I forgot this incident happened this year. It's been too long of a year. With that being said, I hope that person finally found a job or a hobby because that was a little excessive. Anyways, bye!
I cheated on my boyfriend with my college professor, and this is how he found out. Please do not hate me for this. I mean, if you saw my college professor, you wouldn't judge me as hard. I met my boyfriend in college about 2 years ago. This year, I have this class and there was this professor and like every girl had a crush on this professor. I thought I was delusional at one point because I could swear that when I was in class, like he would look at me differently. Like when he was teaching, he would look at me differently. But then my friends started noticing that too and they told me, I think Professor Calloway is actually obsessed with you because he won't stop looking at you every time we're in class. And I was like, right? My boyfriend didn't know any of this. I mean, my boyfriend is like, he just wants to play video games all day and I felt like I just needed a man. Like, he just was this kid who barely cared about school and who only wanted to play video games like all day. And I was like, this is not my future. This professor, like, he would start looking at me a lot. Then he would hand me over the essays and he would always like touch my hand and I just like, okay, every girl would have folded. He's not that old either. He's probably 30 something. Whenever I'd bring up the conversations with my boyfriend to break up, like he would always try to make me feel guilty about the fact that I wanted to break up and I'm going to unalive myself if we ever break up. Sometimes people say, well, you should just break up with him, but I felt bad. There's this one time where on my essay, he hands it back to me saying, can I come by my office tonight? Have to talk to you about your essays and about your grades. And I was like, is this what I think it is? One time where I went by his office and he kissed me and I couldn't hold myself back. I wasn't happy in my relationship. Like I was constantly saying, this isn't gonna work, I'm not having this relationship, blah blah blah, and he just wouldn't let me. It started being a regular thing. 3 times a week I would always come by his office and we would make out. The problem was that this professor was starting to get very possessive over me. He started pressuring me into breaking up with my boyfriend, like hardcore. He wanted me to break up with my boyfriend, but he didn't want to like commit to me or anything. He was like, I can't say anything because I'm your professor and like this wouldn't be good for my reputation at school. And I told him, no, unless you commit to me, unless you do anything, I'm not going to break up with my boyfriend because of you. And yeah, things didn't work out that great because he actually told my boyfriend. I'm gonna tell you what happened afterwards in the next part, so yeah, it wasn't pretty.
Today is February 7th. It is 11:28 p.m. and I wanted to make this video for you in the future to remember what you're feeling right now. you love this boy more than words can describe. And you know that you would have done anything for that guy. Unfortunately. But that's what love is. You vouch for yourself to do anything for that person because you're supposed to do it for them. They're supposed to do it for you too. And that's what you thought you were getting in return, but you weren't. You were not getting that in return. You are with a serial cheater. And you know that because he did that in the beginning of the relationship, but he did it in a way that was kind of like a gray area. So you moved on, but you always had in the back of your head, because you know better than anybody that if you make a mistake once, it's extremely difficult for you not to make it again as a human being. But he did do it again, and he was hiding it from you. And every time you brought it up, you pretended like nothing was going on. Every time you brought it up, he gaslit you into thinking nothing was going on, into thinking that there was no reason for you to be feeling like that you should trust him. And you shoved all of those thoughts aside so that you could trust him and you could grow on that love that you gave to him and that devotion that you gave to him, because you know that you did. This is your reminder that whatever he did is not because of you. Please hear me when I say that, because I know you're going to think it's because of you. It's not because of you. It's because of him. He has something going on in his life and his brain that you cannot comprehend, because you have morals and you have your own way of thinking, and you were raised in a different way, and people are just wired differently, and you'll never understand why he did the things that he did. Pretend like everything was fine, like he loved you, like he was going to propose, like he wanted to marry you, when the whole...
I'm clearly just waking up. Okay, good. So it marks out his name. I had scratched it out, but whatever. So this was the text message that was in the phone. And for those of you asking, I fought her. Like, I need y'all to be so for real. When she walked back into the house, I had her phone in my hand, and at first she didn't see it, and then she was like, "Where's my phone?" And I looked at her like, "Where's your phone, huh?" She's like, "What do you mean? Why do you have my phone?" And I'm like, "Why are you texting Henny?" She's like, "Huh? I'm not. I just, sometimes I'll, text him if I have, a problem that for, man problems, or, I just, okay, well, if you want your phone, come get it from me." Now, at this point, it's just her and I in this kitchen. Ain't nobody in this kitchen. She was like, "Why are you being weird?" And I said, "Well, if you want your phone, come over here and get it." That's how's that weird? Come over here and get it. And then in comes in our mother. She felt the tension immediately. She was like, "What's going on?" I said, "I don't know. Ask your daughter why she's been texting my man." And my mom's looking at both of us like, "What's going on?" And I said, "I don't know. Let's read these text messages." I start reading them aloud. She's like, "No, stop. My mom slaps her dead in her fucking mouth. Before my mom's fingers leave her face, I'm already on top of her. I come running. At this point, I think I had blacked out. I'm fighting her. And my mom kind of just steps back, and she's yelling for help. But at the same time, she's kind of you get that. That's what you get. I was called every name in the book. I was called crazy. He was the one that split us up amongst other people. My favorite fucking suppository brand is what led us here. Shout out to them. But, yeah, I immediately started yelling about everything that I found in the phone. I told him he got to get out the house, and I told her she's dead to me, and I haven't spoken to her since. It's been years. Obviously, her and my mom are cool, whatever, duh. He tried several times to reconcile with me, but we don't have no kids, so I was like, toodaloo. And for those of you wondering, yes, I still take those suppositories, and I may or may not have wrote them and told them, if they see this name, ban them from that site, honey. I gave them the lore. I told them everything that had happened, okay? And tell me why they sent me a free PR package with everything in it. Period panties, bubble bath, their vagina wash, their suppositories, their hoodie, and they're coming out with tampons and pads. And gave me a discount for those when they come out. I may have lost something, but I still won at the end.
The second time I was ever cheated on was the worst. I was 18 and it was my first adult relationship, and I was so in my feels at the time because he'd just asked me to be his girlfriend 1 month before this event on Valentine's Day, right? Maybe he was a bit pressured into it because it was Valentine's Day. I know that he was, looking back. So everything was going well, and then this one night he was out in a bar in a club in London and I was at home, and I'd never even like considered that he might cheat on me before. Like, I was just really confident and naive and happy. I was even bragging to my friend about it, like, yeah, I don't even think about what he does on a night out, hee. Anyway, he was on this one night out and I just had this bad feeling. He did text me and tell me where he was at the beginning of the night. My belly just dropped and I just had a feeling. So I messaged him some pretty pics of myself to remind him what he has at home, and also to get some reassurance, because usually they'd text back when they're drunk, wouldn't they, and be like, oh my god, my gorgeous girlfriend. But no, silence, radio silence. And he didn't reply until Sunday. He went out on Friday, didn't reply until the fucking Sunday. So on Sunday, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you can't do that. I was worried about you. And he just reassured me. He was like, I'm so sorry, that won't happen again. I was like, okay. He was very nice to me in the upcoming days after that. Compliments, texts galore. Guilty behaviour. And then about a week later, I get an Instagram DM, and I bet you can guess what it says. Hey girl. I knew what that meant, instant death. So I literally started hysterically crying on the spot. I was on the sofa in the front room next to my mum. I was like, Mum, I haven't even opened the message yet, but I literally know what it's going to say. I can't deal with this right now. My mum was like, oh no. So I went and cried on my mum's lap. And the message actually said, like, hey girl, like, I think you should ask your boyfriend what he did after blah blah club last weekend. I knew she was telling the truth because he was at that club last week and he told me himself. She was like, yeah, he came to collect his keys yesterday, and so I went on his Instagram and I saw you all over it, so I had to message you. And I was like, well, did you sleep together, yes or no? And she was like, I think you should ask him the details. And I was like, what the fuck? I was appreciative for her for telling me. Well, not at the time, but I can look back and appreciate her. But I was like, why can't you just tell me all the details if you're going to say it? Do you know what I mean? So I rung him up and I was like, what the fuck? And I was really upset, because more for the fact that I couldn't get back with him now. Like, I wanted to be with him, but now my pride wouldn't allow me to. And he was like, I'm so sorry, I've done this to you. He turned up to my house the next day, like, ghostly white. I feel like he did actually really regret it. But I said to him, like, just tell me, did you look her out, yes or no? And he was like, yeah, but only for a second. Why the fuck would you say that? I feel like that's a rare time where a white lie wouldn't have gone amiss. But anyway, I was far too nice to him during that interaction, even though I was hysterically crying and screaming. I did hug him at the end and agreed not to block him on Instagram. It really affected me. I was traumatised, but I went and done the season 9 Napa. But then he ended up turning up to the season 2. I'm actually not bitter about it looking back. I feel like some people just need to cheat at a young age in order to learn how bad the guilt feels and then never do it again. And I know it's shit, but that's what it is.
Okay, so I'm actually done with men forever. I'm staying single forever. Actually, no, I'm just gonna marry my best friend. But tell me why. Exclusive. We've made it clear that we're exclusive. And this kid swipes up to so many girl stories in one day. I didn't even get to scroll all the way. I was just like looking. Okay, oh shit. Sorry. Let me start from the beginning. Basically, me and this kid started talking like a couple weeks ago. I don't really remember. But we're talking or whatever. And then I was at this water park the other day and like some guys asked for my Insta. And I said no, but then I thought about it. I was like, wait, like, are we exclusive? Because a lot of the times I see things as exclusive when they're not. Like when the guy doesn't. So I was like, wait, is he even denying girls like this? So I texted him. I was like, I have a question. Like, can you call when you can? And so we called and I was like, are we exclusive? Because it's fine if we're not. Like, I understand we just started talking and like, I totally get if you don't want to be exclusive, but then I'm not going to be either. And he was like, yeah, like we're exclusive. Also, I was talking about how like the guys had asked for my Insta because I was giving him context. He was like, yeah, well, girls don't even ask for my Insta anyways because I'm ugly. I was like, obviously, I don't think he's ugly, but like, that's just so whatever. And so then, yeah, it's clear that we're exclusive. Like now we're actually talking. And then last night I was going to go and pick him up. And so we're in the car and he's driving and my 2 friends are in the back. Also ignore how much bronzer I put on. But anyway, so I asked for the aux because I'm in the front seat and there was this one song that I like put on my Insta that I wanted to play. So I go to Instagram to search up my Insta and guess what I see? There were so many freaking girls in one day that he swiped up hard eyes to. Like, it was insane. And like the worst part was these girls weren't even texting him first. He was the one texting him every time. And I wouldn't have been mad if like we weren't exclusive because then I would have been talking to other guys too. Because we've only been talking for like a couple weeks. But the fact that we literally called and he made it clear that it was exclusive. And so then we like go to this ice cream place, right? And I'm like pissed, I'm not talking to him. And my 3 friends are in the back. But then we get back in the car and I was at first gonna like address it later. But then I'll show y'all the recording in a different video. My friend got this all on recording. I literally was like, let's address the elephant in the room. And then I like started talking about it. He freaking was trying to gaslight me. He was like, it's not cheating. Like if a girl looks good, I'm gonna tell her she looks good. Y'all need to go watch the recording when I post it because it's bad. And like my friend was literally putting her little 2 cents in the entire time. She was like, what the frick? Like I was like, is this gaslighting and it's fine? And she was like, yeah, it is. because he was actually like trying to gaslight me. And literally, like, again, like, I know it's only 2 weeks in, like, I don't care if we're not exclusive, but why the frick would you tell me we're exclusive and then go and like swipe up to all these girls' stories? And so that just made me freaking pissed. And like the worst part was, like, it wasn't girls texting him and then he would just reply. No, it was him texting the girls. And I have all these guys in my DMs and I'm not texting him back. But yeah, I'm so mad because I literally posted him. I was like, if I post you, like, we have to last, like, you know. And then he was like, yeah, like, no, like, we will or whatever. And then we made it exclusive and then he freaking, that just makes me so mad. Like, he could have told me it wasn't exclusive because then I would have taken advantage of that. But yeah, okay, bye.
I'm pretty sure that all of us as bartenders have at some point in time accidentally told somebody that their partner was having an affair. Am I right? I know some bartenders do this on purpose because it's like a moral thing for them. For me, I'm like, whatever you do in your personal life is what you do in your personal life. I'm just here to make drinks and serve them. So I just soak in the drama. You know, I try not to blow things up for people. Even though I 110% hate and discourage cheating on your partner. However, this is one of my favorite stories where I did accidentally let somebody know that their partner was cheating on them, and I 110% did not mean to. Start off, I want to give you guys the backstory. So I was bartending at this restaurant and I had these regulars that would come in every single day at Wednesday at 4:45. Now, the man, he would usually come in first and he'd sit for about 10 to 15 minutes by himself. And then the lady, she would come in and she would meet him at the bar. Now, at this particular restaurant, I had my bar and then I also had my 4-table section. Hold on, my dog has to go outside and pee. I'll be back. Keep in mind, this restaurant was generally really slow at this time period. So there was usually nobody else in the restaurant while they were here. So the man, he would always order a margarita with Don Julio, and the lady, she would always order a glass of cab. Now, once the lady would come, they would then ask if they could sit in my table section, and they would go and sit at the table that was like closest to the bar, and they'd go sit down there. It became very apparent to me that these people were having an affair after quite some time, just by their behavior in bartending. For a while, you kind of see the same type of behaviors, but also the fact that they both wore wedding rings and they both exclusively told me that they were each other's friend. So I was like, well, you're not married to each other, but you're here with each other, acting like a couple every day and doing these same behaviors I see. So I was like, y'all are having an affair. So this goes on where these people are my regulars and I see them every Wednesday, you know, for literally a couple months straight. We get to know each other pretty well, chit chat a little bit, you know, and there's this one day where the man ends up leaving earlier and the lady stays behind. And I go over to the table and I was like, hey, did you want to get another glass of wine or anything? And she says, yes. I get her the glass of wine and me and her begin chatting and I become therapist Kaylee. She starts venting, and what she tells me is that she is divorcing her husband. And then she goes in to tell me that her friend, the one that she meets at the bar every day, that he is helping her with her finances. Then she tells me, you know, that they're like, you know, she's interested in him and she loves him. They've been friends since they were children and she wants to be with him, but she doesn't know if he really wants to be with her and she wants him to leave his wife. And she tells me like this whole story from like since they were kids and she's been in love with him all this time, and he kind of goes back and forth with her, and she's finally leaving her husband, and he's helping her with her finances, and oh my gosh. Anyways, you get the picture. Let's go to part 2, okay?
Get ready with me while I tell you a story about a time I cheated on my boyfriend and don't regret it. Now, I would like to preface this by saying I do not condone cheating. It's not healthy. It's not good. But I try to find, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel in every situation, and let's just say the situation brought me back to life and made me wake up and realize that I was not happy. Now, to start this off, you should know that I was in a very, very toxic relationship for about 3.5, 4 years, and things weren't going very well. Now, where the issue started is my ex and I were preparing for Valentine's Day. And right around the time of Valentine's Day, he decides that he is going to go on a boys' trip to Scottsdale, which I was fine with. I didn't mind when he went out of town. But he lets me know the dates on it, and I start laughing. I was like, excuse me? I was like, that's over Valentine's Day. It was like, it fell over a whole weekend, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, we have plans for Valentine's Day. We had reservations to a really nice restaurant, and he was just making adverse plans to go off with boys on a boys' trip on Valentine's Day. Now, this man was slick. So what he did was he had remembered that my girlfriends had talked about going on a trip to Mexico when we had been all hanging out a few weeks ago. And he's like, oh my God, you go on a girl's trip, I'll go on a guy's trip. And in return, I'll pay for your plane ticket for you to go. And I was like, but I don't know, kind of a trip, with my girlfriends seemed like a good idea. So I agreed. Now, as I'm taking off to go to Mexico, I realize this man has only bought me an economy seat. And that's fine, don't get me wrong. But if you are a man and you mess up Valentine's Day to go on a boys trip and you're sending your girl off somewhere else, at least get her a Delta Comfort seat. But I was, in the back in economy and it was fine. So I take off, heading off to Mexico with my girlfriends. And we get to Mexico, hanging out, having a great time. And all of a sudden, I see this guy's Instagram story that looks just like where I'm at. And it was a guy who I had met in Atlanta, out and about, but he had moved to a different state. And so we kind of kept in touch with each other, but just as friends. I met him when he had a girlfriend. He met me whenever I had a boyfriend. So the second that I see that we are literally in the same place, same location, I reach out and I was like, hey, we should all get together, because everyone knew each other who was associated with this group. And let me tell you, this man, beautiful. Probably the most beautiful man I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'll just go ahead and have to say we're going to need a part 2 because I need to continue, and I'm getting hot thinking about how cute this guy is.
Story time. Another story about me getting cheated on and how I found out. So, it all started with me wanting a GoPro. I really wanted a GoPro because I travel a lot and I really wanted something to capture all my adventures. And that's literally the only thing I wanted from my partner. So he promised to get it for me. And at the time we were building a house, and a couple of days before my birthday, or I think it was the day before, he goes to me, oh, I'm so sorry, but I can't afford to buy your GoPro, your birthday present. And I said, you know what, that's fine. Probably he needs some money for something for the house, or he needs to pay bills. I didn't think much of it after that. But fast forward a few months, I needed to do some uni work on his laptop. And when I opened his laptop, all of his iMessages were popping up. When you haven't used your laptop for a while and you keep getting all the messages. So I opened it, curious, and I scroll all the way down, and there is a number with no text on there, no text thread. It's not a number saved, it's just a number with all the text gone. So I copy and paste the number into Google, and what comes up? It says hot Latina big peach spicy accountant. Let's call it a spicy accountant. And I thought it was a mistake. I thought there's no way that this is accurate. So I copy and paste the number in. He had a Mac. I copy and pasted her number, or the number, into his Finder, and I searched the number in all of his laptop, and his archives came up of his iMessages, and all the texts that he had deleted were there, obviously. And it said a message from him to her, hey, just got your number from da-da-da-da, and was wondering if you're available on da-da-da-da, and what do you charge? What are your fees? I was getting a little bit sus, she doesn't sound like a personal trainer. So I continued to read the messages, and it was over many, many months while we were in the relationship, and he kept asking for appointments. And the last one that he had sent her was the 29th of November. My birthday is on the 30th of November. And
hey guys, this is a story time on how my first boyfriend ever cheated on me with my best friend. For some context, she had a boyfriend at the time. Me and him were dating, and they had a thing prior to us dating. Both of them got in a relationship after having something together. Yeah. So at this point in time, I had never even kissed a guy, so I was like this little baby, right? The guy I was dating, like, he was like drinking, like, we were 15. Keep that in mind. He was drinking, doing drugs, like, and I was this like little holy girl who literally does nothing. I mean, I still don't, but like I didn't do anything. It just wasn't a good match. So at the time, I wasn't allowed to like hang out with guys, especially not alone. Like, I was scared to even ask my parents to hang out with a guy. And then the girl that was in a relationship, which is my best friend right now, it's crazy how things switched up. So me not being able to hang out with him obviously led to him needing attention from other girls. So basically, what happened? One day he was randomly like, hey, like, I think we should take a break and I think we should get back together on Christmas. I think this was maybe around like December 10th, probably around that date. That's really specific, but yeah. And so I was just kind of like, what? Like, why would we take a break? Like, and he was like, well, I feel like Christmas is just a really special day, and to have our anniversary on that day would be like super cute. So my dumb self, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes perfect sense. So this girl who has a boyfriend, keep that in mind, she has a boyfriend. Her and Pokemon, they go to Topgolf together. And I was aware that he was like going to hang out with her. Or, sorry, no, I wasn't. I was aware that he was going to hang out at Topgolf, but I didn't know he was going with her. Because if I knew that, like, obviously I'd be like, what? So they actually went to a couple places together. But anyways, well, I found out from a little birdie that they, at Topgolf. So as someone who's never even laid a finger on a guy, I was like, great. Oh, let's remember, she has a boyfriend at this time. Like, she has a boyfriend. So not only did she cheat on her boyfriend, he cheated on me. Isn't that just like awesome? So I found out from her that when they were at Topgolf together, like, they were obviously being a little cutesy sussy, like both being mischievous, cheating on each other. It's like girlfriends and boyfriends, whatever. And I found out that, like, when he was there with her, like, she was like, he typed out, I like her name, and he was gonna send it to me on text messages, and she was like, oh yeah, send it, so that, like, I'd get the hint. He doesn't love me, or not even love me, he doesn't like me as his girlfriend. And he deleted it from the bar, like, you know how
Story time on how I found out that I got cheated on. So this is not like with the purpose of like exposing anyone or aiming anyone, but the thing is that it's just like a way to prove you that sometimes like something hurts you, but then you're like so grateful that it happened. So I'm going to tell you the whole story. So I basically talked to a guy, and the thing is that I'm not really going to lie to you, he wasn't like really my type, because the thing is that like his values weren't like really aligning with mine. We had so many like things that were like different, but the thing is that like I was like, okay, he was like making too much effort for me, so I was like, I'm just going to give him a chance and I'm not like going to jump into conclusions. So basically he makes a lot of effort and stuff, but one day I made like a joke that he took way too seriously. Like, I was basically telling him that I'm a person who loves money, and I was really saying it as a joke. It wasn't like with the purpose of like saying anything. I was just like joking, and if you know me, you know that I'm like a very sarcastic person. And I didn't even know that he took it that seriously, because first of all, the way that I said it was like really like ironic, and the way that he replied was even more ironic. So I was like, okay, like I just forgot about it. But he talks about it again, and he's like, I don't know what you meant when you were saying that, like, I just want you to clarify it. I was like, there's nothing to clarify, I was just like joking. And like he kept like talking about it for like an hour, and like another day he comes up with the same thing. So I was like, bro, I was really joking, like genuinely I was joking. Anyways, he forgets about it, and he makes a lot of effort. He tells me things that are really like you would like definitely believe that he's a writer and that he was like making a poem for me, and I really felt like I was so special. So this is like the thing that made me like attached to him, because I was like, okay, he's making a lot of effort and I can feel that I'm his dream girl, like literally, without like exaggerating or anything. And I was really like, okay, even though he's not like really like me, but at least he's like giving me the love that I deserve. So I'm like really I have to choose him, because at the end of the day, like, you have to choose whoever chooses you. So I was like, okay, I found the right one. But then, like, on a random day, he disappears. Like, he basically disappears the whole day. And I was like, where are you? What's wrong with you, you know? Because nothing happened. And then he replies to me at midnight, and he was like, I'm really sorry, but I'm having like family issues, and like we're really trying to solve them, so that's why I'm like disappearing. I was like, okay, don't worry, it's okay, it's fine, but like if you want me to help you with anything, like just let me know. And then the following day, the same thing happens, he disappears. And when he like comes back at night, I see him like spamming his stories with like his pictures and everything. And he didn't even look like someone who was like actually like going through a lot. I was feeling like he was lying, you know, because why would you like hang out with people and like post stories when you're going through a lot? Like, I'm sorry, but this is not like logical, you know. And it's not about depression being invisible or like, no, like it was really showing that he was like really fine, you know. So basically we talk at night, and one thing happened earlier during the day, and this is like when I like kind of found out that he was cheating. So basically at some point he unfollowed all of the girls that he was following. So he did it without even me asking, you know. So I was like, I'm so flattered. He's really like, you know, proving that even when I'm not looking, he's being loyal, you know. So basically one day, like on the same day, I see that like his followers went up, because like he had very like few, like not followers, following I mean. So I see it like going up. And as soon as I go and
in honor of the 1-year anniversary of the actual worst day of my life, here's how I found out my boyfriend of 7 years was cheating on me. Start off by saying that before everything went down, this was my longest and healthiest relationship. This man absolutely adored me, and I adored him. Everybody around us knew that. We were best friends before anything. We lived together. We rebuilt a home together. We did the whole shebang. We all thought we would end up growing old together. So this was definitely a shocker. I was a bartender, and he was recently undergoing new management. They didn't know if they were going to close the shop down. There's a lot of stuff going on in his workspace. Eventually it got bought out. This new owner brought in new people, including his daughter. One night I was sending pictures over of our dog. He was our dog. Over from his phone to my phone. And as I did that, the first message that popped up was a little Instagram emoticon. And the little profile pic bubble was a half-naked girl. So naturally, I want to go check his Instagram. I had seen that they had been talking for some time, and it did seem a little bit flirty, so I confronted him about it. And a little introduction, because I forgot it, he said that this was his new coworker Lori, who he was training. He said that she has a girlfriend, and it's not like that, and that's just how he talks to all his coworkers. And mind you, it could have passed off as that. She did have a little bit more of an androgynous look to her, so I just blew it off. I was like, well, this is Chad. We'll name him. This is Chad. Chad wouldn't do this to me. And so that was that. Further down the line, I noticed a slight change in behavior. I don't feel like we were connecting as much, and he had mentioned that he was about to turn 30 and he wasn't where he wanted to be in life, and that he kind of just wanted to focus on himself. So I respected that. As much as I wanted to be there for him, he never really allowed me to be that person for him. And this wasn't just the first time, just anytime he went through anything in general. But I decided to respect his decision on that, and I offered to move out of our bedroom into the studio room to give him his space. So I did, but we were still very much flirtatious with each other. He still took me out for Valentine's Day. We still celebrated his birthday. Mind you, at this point, he was very hot and cold with me. So this was the most this man has ever made me cry. He had never made me cry in the past, so it was driving me nuts. He basically said that after this break, he wants to come back stronger and talk about having kids together, promising this whole life. And so again, I was trying to do my best to be there for him. the best way I could be. And there was one night where we decided to officially take the break, and that's when he wanted to hold me, caress me, he was cuddling with me, he cooked me dinner that night. He randomly at like 9 o'clock at night said, I'm going to, we'll call this place PTSD because, bitch, that's exactly what it gives. He said, I'm going to PTSD, his workplace, to go see my buddy, we'll call him Steven. And mind you, he had been going out a lot more lately, and I mean, we had each other's locations, and there'd be times where he's at a different place and where he said he would be. So anyway, he decided to leave really late one night, which is not like him at all. This man was very much a stay at home, antisocial, didn't want to go out with anyone, see anything, whatever. So naturally, I was just spiraling, okay? I was crying, I was confused. So he said he was going to go see Steven. And then he grabbed his laptop. Mind you, they work at a bar. Why are you taking your laptop? So I asked him about it. He said, well, I'm meeting up my other friend, we'll call him Nathaniel, in the morning for some coffee, and he recently went back to school, and I'm thinking about going back to school, so he's going to help me with that. And the reason he was taking his laptop is so that he didn't have to pack it up in the morning. And I'm all out of time, so head over to part 2.
Alright, so today I'm going to eat and tell you my story time about when a man cheated on his wife with me, because apparently that's what people do, story times and eat. Stick around to the end because there is a picture, because we are still together, and do not come for me with no angry comments until the very end, and I promise you won't want to. So erase that angry comment right now. This happened in 2019. Just stick with me until the end. I promise you. There is a picture, and I promise you will like it. Alright, so this starts in 2019. I started going to a bar that opened up with a bunch of people that went to another bar that I was a regular at. And a lot of the same people. This woman said she was meeting her son down there. This woman that I knew, her and her husband Bob, said she was meeting her son down there, and asked if I wanted to ride with him. We were bikers, and I said sure, you know. All right, so I ended up really liking this guy, super my type, and we hit it off. He really liked me. We went on a couple of dates. He lived 20 minutes in the opposite way of the bar, and I lived 20 minutes in the other way of the bar. So we were about 40 minutes away from each other total in our houses. So, I go home. We went out on like 3 dates or something, and on the third day he went home with me, and he spent the night, and then he left the next day, and he was kind of distant, kind of weird, kind of strange. Didn't really think much about it. So then I'm laying on the couch that night. He texts me, and he says, I really have to talk to you about something. And I was like, what is it? He's like, can we please meet for lunch tomorrow? I really have to talk to you, and I want to do it face-to-face. And I was like, okay. So I met him on my lunch break the next day. And he says, I have a daughter at home. And I was like, oh, so do I. Like, you knew I had a kid at home, you know? Like, I've told you. Why would you keep that from me? That seems so strange. And he's like, I don't know, I didn't know how you'd act. She's really young. She's only a year. I'm sorry, she was almost 2 years old, I believe, at this point. And I was like, I don't, you know, that's cool, that's fine, you know, you could be honest with me. So we're eating, and he's still acting very strange. And I was like, what's going on? Like, what's up? And he's like, I also have a wife at home. Like, I don't know how he thought I was gonna respond to that, but I was just like, what? Like, I was just like taken aback. Like, I was like, what? And I was, how could you? So I'm just like, I immediately, I have to go. Like, I'm going to be sick, I'm gonna throw up. So he doesn't have like a Facebook. I didn't, like, the only social medias I had back then, I think, was Instagram and Facebook. He doesn't have either of those things. And so I have no way of knowing this girl. I don't know anybody but his fucking parents. Why his parents didn't tell me that he was married, no idea. So I don't know this girl's name. I don't know how to find her. So like a week goes by. I told my cousin about it, obviously. She's my best friend. And she knows the guy. So like a week after this happens, my cousin calls me and she's like, girl, bitch. That's how it started. So I knew something was up. So she says, we'll call him Joe. Joe's out with, we'll call her Tina. Joe's out with Tina. And I know Tina from the bar that I met Joe at and his mama. And so I'm like, what? He's fucking married. I'm gonna call her Amanda. So I'm like, Amanda, girl, he's married to Amanda. I need to get a hold of Amanda. I don't know. I don't even know that I knew that her name was, what her name was at the time. Her name is not Amanda, but I don't know if I knew her name at the time. But so I get a hold of Joe's mom. And I'm like, what's going on, girl? Like, your son played me. I found out he was married. Why didn't you tell? She's like, oh, he's separating. They don't get along. Like, girl, so be so for real. So, which I don't blame his mom. That's a different story. Anyways, so I find out what this girl's name is, what she looks like. I don't know. I don't remember how, but I did. And I met her at the bar that I originally met Joe at. And yeah, Joe hit me up. They ended up getting divorced, and you know, she had another kid, and Joe started hitting me up after that. And yeah, so here's the picture. She's smoking, huh? Yeah, that's Amanda and me. Yeah, bitches, I told you to fucking wait till the end. See, if you commented something before you saw that picture, then that's on you. She's a cool ass bitch. Him, I don't know about Joe. Joe who? Well, I'm pretty sure him and Tina are still together though.
Story time about the time I walked in on him with another girl and literally took a video of it. This had happened freshman year. I'm a senior now, and I'm in a very healthy relationship now. So like I said, this was 3 years ago, and it was this guy's birthday. And for his birthday, he had a bunch of people from his high school right down the road come to his apartment and like pregame with us before we went to another party. Also, my best friend was in town, so she was visiting. And for his birthday, I had got him this chain. Keep this in your mind. So the night rolls around, and we're all at his apartment pre-gaming, and all of his like high school friends show up. First red flag is that literally nobody said hi. Keep in mind, these people are still in high school. Second red flag is when we were playing like beer pong, I literally had slipped and like fell on my back. And one of the girls was like, blah, 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 get your girl, talking about me. And he did not help me off the ground. Two of his other friends helped me off the ground. And we were like laughing about it, but like, what do you mean, well, get your girl? Like, and he didn't even help me up. The third red flag is that when me and all my friends were like in the living room, him and all these like high school girls were in his room taking shots out of like our alcohol bottles. So we were like, no, absolutely not. And we put our alcohol bottles in the closet. Keep that in mind too. So the pregame's about over, and we walk like a neighborhood over to this like party that this guy was having. And there was like a ton of us, and we're all walking, and I noticed like him and this another girl just like talking like behind everybody. They're like way back, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not gonna think anything of it because it's his high school friends. He probably hasn't seen them in a while, and why would I need to overthink? So we're in this party, and there's like a downstairs and an upstairs, and one of my friends was like, Megan, I just saw go upstairs with this girl, like, you want me to go check on them? Like, that was like 10 minutes ago. And I was like, sure, like, I don't care. And so she like went up there, and she came back down, and she was like, he had his arm around her. And I was like, you know what, like, I don't care.
I really don't care. So the night was getting pretty late, and I remember he had like Snapchatted me or something. It was like, hey, like, we're all going back to my apartment, like, we're just like tired or whatever. And then time rolls around and it's like actually time to like go, you know? So we walk back to his apartment, and it's like me and like 4 other of my girlfriends. And I remember he like wasn't answering my Snapchat, so I was like, I feel like we're like about to walk in on something. Like, I just have like a gut feeling something's not right. When we get back to his apartment, we open like his like main door to his apartment, and these girls just like start like giggling. They're like, and they're like, oh gosh. And I like turn my head, and in my head I'm like, oh gosh, what? Then like me and my 4 girlfriends like go over to his like his room door, and it's locked. So then my friend Tatum's whispering, and she's like, Megan, like, I'm gonna knock, pretend you're not here, like, don't say anything. So she knocks, and she's like, blah blah blah, like his name. She was like, I'm just here to get my alcohol, like, I'm going back to Megan's dorm. And he's like, 1 second. Now it's been like 2 minutes, and he still's not open the door. And she's like, open up, like banging on it and yelling at him. And he's like, hold on, and like opens it. And this is where I like blacked out, like barely remember what went down. We walk in, and Tatum opens the closet to get her alcohol off the top shelf. And what do we see? A little rat hiding in the closet. And my first instinct, I don't know, I have never walked in on something like that. My first instinct was to literally take a video. So I pulled my phone out of my back pocket, I opened Snapchat, and I took a video. I took a video of her hiding in the closet, and then I took a video of him like laying on his bed. And then I like ran out. And I ran into his roommate's room, and I was just like crying because I was like, what the heck did I just walk into? And I literally hear my best friend in the other room like screaming at him. And then in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, what about the chain? I just got him today. I was like, Tatum, please go get it for me. I'm like returning it. So she literally goes back in his room and is like, give me the chain. And he's like, what chain? And this like high school girl is still just like sitting in his room, and he's like, what chain? Like pretending I didn't get him a chain that morning. And she was like, the one on your neck. And he's like so freaked out and scared, he's shaking. He can't get it off. So he goes, Tatum, can you help me get it off? So then I run to my other guy friend's apartment where like everybody would hang out at. And I did not go back to my dorm because I had my best friend there, my brother was in town, my brother's friend was in town, and then my roommate, obviously, in a little dorm. So I was like, I'm just gonna sleep on my friend's couch and like go back to my dorm in the morning. And then I woke up on their couch the next morning to someone standing over me while I'm sleeping going, Megan, Megan. And I wake up and it's him, and I was like, what are you doing in here? And I was like, don't talk to me, don't talk to me. And he was like, this is what he says. Can I get you Andy's and we can talk it out? Sir, it is 9 in the morning. We're going to go to Andy's and you're going to talk about how I just walked in on you with another girl? No. So yeah, that is like the story of the time I walked in on him with another girl and took a video of it. And oh my gosh, he got like messed up on campus by all my friends. My friends would roll the windows down and like scream at him, and he'd be like talking to like other girls on campus or as like friends, and they'd be like, screw you, like screaming at him through the window. Or like my whole sorority like posted on Yik Yak or something. I can't really remember. I have a bunch of screenshots, but yeah, so that's literally the time I took a video of it. Obviously, it doesn't faze me anymore because I'm in a new relationship at this point. It's hilarious, like, so funny, and I had to share it because I want y'all to hear. Should I post the video? Bye!
Tell the truth, I look better under you. I can't lose when I'm with you.
This claims to reduce fine lines, relieve puffiness, and brighten dark circles. Disclaimer, results may vary depending on skin type.
Hey y'all, get ready with me while I tell you guys how I got caught cheating for the first time.
this is not a funny matter, and I started doing my skincare and I realized, let me just record a story time while doing a get ready with me. Okay, so this is not funny at all. Like, cheating is, I don't support cheating at all, but I only did this because that person that I did it to was a dog and they deserved it. Okay, this is not, also, by the way, not my current boyfriend. This is someone from, like, my past. This story takes place literally around this time last year. I feel like everyone's summer of 2023 was just so, like, what the fuck. So the reason why I did this also, I'm not, like, trying to excuse why I did this, but I feel like there is, like, an valid excuse as to why I did this. And I didn't do anything crazy. I was just texting other boys. Like, this wasn't, like, I wasn't linking people. I wasn't doing nothing with people. I was just texting other boys. So yeah, so I literally just did this because he was a cheater and he was doing way worse to me, and I got, like, fed up because karma wasn't working and I was really mad. So I was like, I need to be karma, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it myself. So basically, I was dealing with this person for like 2 months at the time when I got, like, caught, and basically, like, throughout those 2 months I was being loyal. Like, I was actually doing my job. I was being loyal. I was, you know, doing what I was supposed to do. And he wasn't. He was like, he went out kind of a lot, like, to parties and stuff, and he wasn't doing his job. He was dogging me. Like, there was, like, a point where I stopped being loyal to him, though, and it was, like, 2 weeks before I got caught up, because I just remember, like, it was, like, a really specific moment where I found him talking to, like, this other girl, and it was, like, this girl that kept popping up in our, like, relationship, and I was, like, getting sick of it. And it was, like, a really big, like, crazy moment, because, and then it just made me be like, you know what, like, he's still not respecting me, so I'm gonna give him his little karma. Anyways, so to the story. So basically, I caught him up, and I was, like, sick at that point. I was like, no, like, this is, like, done. Like, I remember I was crying at work when I found out this huge thing that he did. And I was like, yeah, no, like, I'm done. Like, I can't keep staying with this person. Like, but I was like, I can't leave him. Like, I can't leave him. Like, I'm addicted. Like, I can't leave. So I was like, I'm gonna just do what he's doing, but I'm gonna do it less. Mind you, where I'm from, I feel like everyone, not like everyone knows him, but, like, where I'm from, like, I couldn't really text people, like, from where I'm from. I had to, like, reach and branch out to other states, because every boy that, like, I was trying to, like, text knew him, followed him, knew of him. So it was, like, to a point where I was like, bro, like, every boy I was texting, he was, like, finding out. So I was like, no. Like, when we would take, like, our breaks, because we were kind of, like, on and off, he would, like, find out about, like, what I was doing. So the only boy that I technically got caught up with, and I was only texting, was this boy named Ashley, which, like, his name wasn't actually Ashley, but we're gonna call him Ashley. So I was talking to Ashley, and basically we were only talking for, like, 2 weeks, and it wasn't anything serious. Like, so it's July 29th. Basically that day, me, him, his friend, and my friend were all in his car, and it was pouring. It was raining. Like, we were, you know, and basically that was, like, the plan to do. So then basically we were in the car on the way to, like, the spot, and he has Apple CarPlay. You could already tell where the turn is taking. So he has Apple CarPlay, and I was, like, listening to Instigated by Lil Durk. So I was like, can I play that song? He's like, yeah. So I plug in my phone and I start to play that song, and it just went downhill from there. So he started, like, switching the songs and stuff, and I was switching it back, and then I don't know what clicked, but he was like, oh, let's check your messages. So he pressed the messages. Like, this all happened so fast. So he pressed the messages, and I unplugged my phone. But since it's, like, a car screen and shit be lagging, and I was slow, he saw Ashley's name at the top. So my dumbass is like, oh my gosh. So he puts, like, the music all the way up, and, like, at this point, like, we're not speaking. So I'm, like, looking at my friend, and I'm like, what do I do? Because I'm in the backseat with her. I'm like, what do I do? And she's like, delete stuff off your phone. So I started deleting everything off my phone, which was, like, I shouldn't have done that, because, like, whatever. But I was also doing that because every time I call him up, first of all, to this day, he will never admit that he dogged me like that. Like, he'll never admit that he cheated on me, but I know he did. He knows he did. Everybody knows he did. Like, when someone tells you that your man's a hoe, listen to them, because they are not a liar. Like, they are a hoe. Whenever I would catch him up, he would delete everything. Like, he wouldn't even, like, let me look through his phone. Like, he would let me look through his phone. Like, after we finished arguing and stuff, he would go, and then he'll be like, call me, like, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes later and being like, oh, do you want to look at my phone? And my dumb ass would be like, yeah, I do. And then I would look at it and there would be nothing there. But you know what you saw. You know what you saw. And like it would convince me that I was crazy. I was envisioning things, but like I wasn't. I saw it. Anyway, so I deleted everything because I'm like, he doesn't, in my head I was like, you don't even, I'm like having a seizure. How I was thinking was like, he doesn't have the decency to show me his phone, so I'm not gonna have the decency to leave everything there and show him my phone. And that's what I did. I deleted everything and I kept lying. So then we're parked now, and at this point, like, and the tension is really high. Like, he's very mad, but I'm like still trying to act like a little bimbo, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So then I tell my friend and his friend to leave the car, and he's like, no, like, you're not leaving the car, like, they can't leave the car. Like, this boy looked like he wanted to beat my ass. Like, he was so mad, and I feel like he was just mad because, like, I did it and he didn't expect me to do it. So yeah, so they left the car and it was just me and him in the car, and it was so awkward. Like, I was literally sitting there in silence. And at one point, he left the car and was outside because where we were parked, his friend / cousin lived there. So they went, like, over there. And it was just me in the car. And then my friend was in the other car by herself. So I started calling people. I started calling all my best friends. And I was like, what do I do? I just got caught up. Like, what do I do? And they were all telling me, like, just to admit the truth and tell him, like, why you did it. And, like, why you feel like he deserves it. And that he didn't have the decency to tell you what he did wrong. So you did it back. And then my other friend, my best friend, was like, don't admit shit. He didn't admit shit to you, so you don't admit shit to him, and you just keep lying. So that's what I did. I just kept lying. I kept saying he was my friend. I was like, he was my friend. I just go to him to talk about stuff, blah, 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 blah. And obviously, if you're in a healthy relationship and someone cheats on you and you find out and she's saying or he's saying that they go to this person to talk about stuff, you're going to be like, why can't you talk to me about that? Like, you're my man. I mean, you're my girlfriend, you're my boyfriend, like, you can't talk to me about that. And, like, rightfully so, if he didn't do what he did, he had a reason to feel that way, and that's what he said he felt. But, like, because he did what he did, I didn't feel bad, and I'm like, you can't feel that way. Like, you cannot feel that way. So eventually, like, we were just still, like, going back and forth, but I was, like, in the clouds. So I was, like, still, like, just, like, trying to process everything in the moment, and I'm like, I cannot believe I got caught. And then I started singing sad songs by Lil Durk to him, which was, like, not, like, my finest moment. I just remember I was singing that to him because I was, like, I did not know what to do. It was, like, a moment of silence. We weren't talking to each other. He was on his phone. He was mad. And I was just singing Lil Durk. And then I remember he recorded me and was, like, calling me a cheater and stuff. And he posted that on his Snap.